All right, welcome to the confidential bulletin from the California Restaurant Association. I'm Joseph Petruzzelli, the owner of Wurstkuche Restaurant in Los Angeles, California, and I'm joined here by my co-host Ben Shahvar from Buttercup Restaurant up in Northern California. And we recently went to the California Food Show in Anaheim, California, and got to speak with some of the guests that were there and some of the vendors. And this is sort of a recap of some of our conversations that I thought were really interesting and learned a lot. And it was great to get some other perspectives and hear what other restaurateurs and vendors and producers are going through right now.
Yeah, we had a great time, didn't we, Joseph? Yeah, we had a great experience at the California Food Show, Food Expo. And if you haven't been, you should definitely make a point to go next year because it's an incredible experience and also what I think is a must experience for any restaurateur. So, Fred, what can you tell us about your current restaurant and what challenges, what's going well?
We have 9 Southern California brew pubs. We've been around 36 years. We're the first brewery to open in San Diego since Prohibition. So we've been doing this a long time. The full service industry is really challenged with the value equation, I think, right now, which is how do you provide a value to the guest in comparison to people wanting the convenience of getting it to them however they want it, whether it's DoorDash, whether they go pick it up. And I think the fast casual guys have stepped up their game as far as the food quality goes. So you have to really figure out the experience equation to what kind of thing you're providing. So I got back to Carl in January of last year. We added back full service. We had a lot of people that have never waited tables before, so we started from scratch building that back up. It's been a challenge. Trying to educate our teams on why it's good for them to take care of the guests and why it's good for them to make people's day and create those memorable experiences. And so we have stores that are doing fantastic, and we got stores in downtown Los Angeles, for example, that's struggling since June.
Yeah.
It had been doing great earlier in the year, and with the uncertainty in the markets right now, it's a challenging market, it's a challenging business. We try and go about it by our theme and our mission statement is making people happy through our beer and our experiences that we create for them. So making people happy.
And that all starts with you and your people-pleasing personality.
It starts from walking the talk, and our leaders have to do that with their team. They have to show the behavior that they expect from their team, and we have to treat our team with respect and
that can be a challenge for some operators.
A lot of operators.
Yeah.
And the other thing is on the leadership development, a lot of hospitality people don't want to hurt people's feelings, so they don't necessarily discipline.
Yeah.
They think discipline is a bad thing, and,
Right.
and we try and coach that by disciplining and by coaching people, you're helping them, not hurting them.
Got it.
So whether it's showing up showing up on time or whether that's taking care of the guest, having those tough conversations is important for their growth, and it just helps them be better.
Well, I was going to wonder, what's your leadership development program that you have at the restaurant?
We do a lot of what's called situational leadership through Ken Blanchard companies.
Oh, yeah?
We teach setting the table, so we'll walk them through, the whole book of setting the table and hospitality versus what's the difference between service and hospitality,
Yeah.
and just get inside their head. And then we go through the situational leadership where most people have one leadership style. They're either, and it's usually on the opposite ends. They're either a director or a delegator, and they don't know how to use the different tasks at hand of what does that employee need for this specific task at this time. This could be an employee that's been with me 10 years and is the best server I've ever had, but we're rolling out a new menu item she's never tasted before. We've got to start at D1 and give her the experience and go through the details and make sure that she is trained up so that she can get to that part where I can delegate to her.
Are you using the actual Ken Blanchard, like you have
Yeah.
them come in and
Yeah.
do the seminars?
Yeah, we started with our GMs, and Scott Blanchard came in and talked to our GMs, and he serves on our foundation board. He's a great, he's a Blanchard, so he's a great human being.
Wow, okay.
and a real giver. And I've used him at 4 different companies, and I really believe in what they teach. I think it's a way, they take complex ideas and simplify it, I think, is the best way to explain Ken Blanchard, is they take these complex things and go, okay, here's a simple way to explain this to everybody.
And so how often are you doing that training?
Well, we're always training the next batch. So we have our next group of brewpub managers coming through on August 22nd. I'll be going through about an hour and a half overview with one of their, it's not Scott every time, but we'll be, it's an online call so to get the same language. And then we use the one-on-one things that they use. We use the SMART goals that they have.
Right.
So we use a lot of the tools that they have. We sort of pick and
That's
choose.
your company language.
That's a company language that we've adopted, yeah.
Good.
I think that's fantastic to hear, and I know you brought up discipline, which is important. Joseph, I'd like to bring you into this conversation. In your business, are you the disciplinarian, or what is your role? And do you have any wild stories dealing with employees?
I try
Discipline.
to stay out of discipline as much as I possibly can. I will point out somebody that needs to be disciplined.
Got it.
But that's the relationship that I want my manager to have with the team.
Got it.
And
So you don't want to do the dirty work.
Yeah, I mean, I catch myself all the time saying, "Hey, that's a cell phone. Put that away." And then they'll get an employee notice and the little 1-minute reprimand or redirect from
See some
their
Blanchard
manager.
right there.
Oh, yeah. We
1
give
minute manager.
we
That was the
give managers
first one I ever read was 1 minute manager. How about you?
As far as the discipline,
Yeah.
I am unfortunately everything almost in
Yeah.
terms of HR operations. So, yeah, like you said, one-on-one conversations, difficult to have. Of course, they're very difficult to have, but they're actually a lot easier to have than avoiding it, right? Because when you avoid it, it's like the dragon. You guys heard the story about the dragon?
No, tell me.
All right, so there's a dragon living in the forest, and you're in the village, right?
Yeah.
They're telling you about the dragon, and you think by not paying attention to the dragon or forgetting about the dragon, then it's going to go away. But what happens? The dragon gets bigger.
Yeah.
So when you first hear about this dragon, it's small, and you're like, "Oh, I don't really need to attack the dragon. He's in the forest." And then as time goes on, that dragon gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have a saying in our company: face the dragon. Now you hear about that dragon, you go after it, and when you do that, your job is actually easier. And I think the biggest mistake managers make is they avoid the dragon because they think it's going to go away or it's not going to happen, and then there's a blow up.
I love that story, and it's everybody has their own language of how to do that. But you're right. Getting to those situations early and having those honest conversations early before it becomes a blow up, because that also becomes acceptable behavior, right? The dragon's like,
Correct.
Hey, they're letting me out here. It's all good.
Hey,
like
let's
it's all
get
good.
some more gold.
Yeah,
and food,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, but then it's hard also, when you're married and you have dragons at home. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
So as an owner operator, your words carry a lot of weight, and so you're consciously aware that sometimes I might hurt their feelings really bad, or I might make them freak out.
Both Tyler and I can be authoritarian at points, and so I try to have a different relationship with the team. I'm not always successful at it, but I also try to build that in our managers.
Do you do site walks with your GMs to see what they see, kind of thing?
Yeah, we call them physicals.
Okay.
Also, restaurateurs, I'll get back to your point in 1 second.
Yeah.
Restaurateurs, especially independent restaurateurs, you grow up in this environment where it's not stuffy corporate.
Yeah.
You're just a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is how people freaking talk in the restaurants.
That's
absolutely
absolutely correct.
And so it would be like, yes, we should edit ourselves and we should be moderate, and there is an appropriate way to behave, which I'm learning, okay? But at the same time, you still want to be genuine in a sense that if you want to connect with other restaurant operators, you can ask them, how many times this week did you curl up in the fetal position?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It means it's once a week. But sorry, go ahead, back.
No, I mean, multiple times this week.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about the physical.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
well,
this was
we have a
interesting.
physical, which is it's a scheduled thing.
Yeah.
The managers know about it. It's like when you're going to the doctor, you want to get everything. The week before you go to the doctor, you start working out, trying to get real fit.
Yeah.
Lean off as much as you can.
Right.
They're supposed to be cleaning, and they know it's coming, right? So we'll do that. We'll walk through, and it should be something where we're only talking about big ideas or big repairs, right? These are things I don't want to be talking about dirt and
She was late
grime.
5 minutes or something like this.
Yeah. That stuff wants to be totally caught at the store level, which we do at grade cards, right? So the stores can administer themselves a grade card. If they get anything below a 95, they gotta really sweat it and start working hard on it.
I like the grade card. There was a book written by Gary Ridge in San Diego. He used to be the CEO for WD-40. And it was based on a book called "Don't Mark My Paper, Help Me Get an A."
Didn't he speak for us?
He did.
Okay.
I had him come speak to our board.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he wrote "Any Dumbass Could Do It" is his latest book.
I co-authored.
Yes, yeah. But he talks about the grading system. They have to know what an A looks like, right? So you're giving them the score. Here's your 95. This is the goal. And then you flip it upside down, and it's your job to help them get an A, right? What do you need to help me? We see this together. How are we going to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Instead of, I'm just here to give you mark your paper.
Yeah, I wish it always worked like that, but
No,
yes,
of course,
totally.
because the third time you come in, they get the same thing wrong. It's different than
Right.
they were unaware of what the problem was.
But,
Yeah.
what I'm interested in, because all these restaurants that are here, they all have these problems of this
Yeah.
and this. What I'm interested in is, what are you guys doing that's next? You know what I mean? Because I'm willing to bet that in your area, new restaurants are opening, right?
Yeah.
And they're coming on the cutting edge. And I'm always trying to think, like, what do we need to do in our own business, not only to keep with current trends, but, you know, God forbid, be ahead of the trends? And that's why I like to talk to other restaurateurs. Like, what is something you've done in your restaurant lately, Fred, that has been either a success or a challenge that you've been thinking about that, like, hey, I need to figure out a way to fix this?
I think we're trying to get our head around what loyalty looks like from a brand perspective. We know we have loyal people, and we want to try and create a loyalty platform that's experiential driven, but still gives them stuff along the way. And we're navigating through that right now. So that's the latest thing that we rolled out a couple months ago. We're just dipping our toes. We don't know if we have the right technology partner for it, and we haven't built in all the experiences we want. So it starts with the communication with our guests, of our best guests, of what does it look like for them, and what kind of things do they want that they're not getting. And it's always information and access and secret items. And
Is this through tech? You're using
it's
technology, or is it
it's
word of
through
mouth?
tech. We partner with Patronics, but we're looking into Thanks. We're talking to a few different vendors, and we're just trying to figure out what the right communication touch points are. Obviously, when you come in, when you pay, we ask you if you're a loyalty member, and if not, that's a chance to sell. And if you are a member, you'll have something loaded onto your phone. You can go, do you want to use your free appetizer kind of thing.
So are you full tableside service now?
We're full tableside service.
You looked at kiosks or
We
anything
have.
like this?
We'd never been kiosks, but we were counter service for a while. So
Okay.
we've always kept the human. Like, if you're in fast casual and you can figure out the human equation,
Yeah.
you're going to win.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
So Joseph, what are some things you're doing to staying ahead of trends? And I know you guys are talking about, so I'd love to hear from your business, or like what strategies lately.
Trends, well, we don't change too much. We
Okay.
stay very, we have a singular point of view that we kind of speak from, and we try to stay, timeless, if you will. But I am really interested in, I had this big, summit with all my team members. They call it an all-hands meeting, but it was basically this big discussion where the decision in front of me is is it man versus machine? And as long as we're going to hire people, right, let's have them do the things that people can do, only people can do, right, which is that warm smile. Because kiosks have gotten amazing, and I'm trying not to do it, but I'm not sure why, because 33% sales more from a kiosk. Right?
I think you should test one.
I mean, well, I have. I've done, McDonald's, amazing display, beautiful graphics.
Great UI.
Always
In
ask
your-
me if I want fries with it.
Yes.
In your brand.
Always.
Yes.
In your brand.
Yes, totally.
And your employee can still help people and be a concierge for them. And what can I get you? And
Yeah, and also these some of the things that define our restaurant, Wurstkuche, in the early days. Some of these new technologies where you can order from the table, and just have an open tab and it's just food running. They're interesting. We haven't totally made that switch, but I think are opening up new opportunities for restaurants. And have you tried any of these?
Yeah, well, we were
code.
QR code on every table during COVID.
I don't like the QR code, but I like the QR. I like where the table has a QR code, and then
It just goes
they
to
know
POS.
where. Yeah, they know
Okay.
where to bring your food. So
Yeah.
but it's devoid of a lot of experience, and unless you have really, painfully outgoing people, like that food runner can just drop it off. But I got a question for you. Different topic. How many locations is?
We have 9.
9. Okay. So we were driving this morning, checking out the area, and we drove by what looked like a beautiful, brand new
Big building.
restaurant
In
Yeah.
Orange.
right down the street.
In Anaheim.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's in Anaheim. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anaheim.
Yeah.
Right close to where we are right now.
Yes.
How are you determining where you're putting locations? How much?
Well, I think that's changed. We used to we look at the local demographics. Our concept tends to do better in a higher income area because it's less. When market fluctuations come and when consumer freak out,
Yeah.
if you're making a certain level of income, you're still going out to eat. And we're polished casual, so we're not cheap. We're not necessarily value play. We do value times. We do happy hours. We do have a lunch special, but we're not really a value play. So we want people that are going out for that experience, and it's not cheap. I mean, our prices are up 30% since COVID. So we're looking for probably a more affluent area. We're looking for density. We want both daytime and nighttime population. So we do want lunch business nearby.
So going back to your landlord conversation, what out of every, because you have 9 locations, you're looking at more, I'm sure you've been through the mill, what percentage of landlords would you say is this partner that's 50-50? And what are the ones that you say that it's like, hey, are you, could like work for me on the rent? And they're just like, no.
I would say we are 50-50 right now, but going forward, we're going to try and be 99-1.
Yes, it's so important, because if you think about like the number one cost in the restaurant, at least for us, that you have the least amount of control of is rent. You know what I mean? Like labor you can kind of massage.
It's not just that, but in 10 years or when your options are up, you're going to have this really tough discussion.
Yeah.
And if you're not friends over that time, if you're not partners, that conversation's not going to go well.
Have you, either of you guys, purchased any buildings?
Yeah, we own 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that a preferable path for you?
Yeah,
or?
but no one wants to sell. When you look at
Haven't you seen that McDonald's movie with Michael Keaton? The Founder. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
So it's a great movie because when he was a restaurateur, he didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And as soon as he figured out, well, if I'm the landlord too.
Yes.
It's
they're the biggest property holding company in America.
Yeah,
I think.
I've been doing this 40 years for 4 or 5 different brands, and in California, we tried to buy every other market in the country we could buy. California, you get a price and say, here's what it is to rent, here's what it is to buy, and they're doing like a 2 cap. The math doesn't make any sense, right? So we buy when we can, when there's something. A lot of times you can't.
Fred, you've been a fantastic guest, man.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
So
Kick you guys off.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It's great.
It was fun.
Man.
I love
so
talking shop. Next time we'll do it over beers.
Yes, absolutely. At Carl Strauss, maybe.
Carl Strauss.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So,
Down the street.
I think I just invited myself to his restaurant.
Yeah.
So we're a audio and visual medium. So we're looking for somebody that might look either right.
Yes.
No, that might like look interesting.
Right. On sort of par, as good looking as you and I. We don't.
Well, we can't shoot too high. Yeah, so we got to be realistic.
Well, we want to look. We want to be the ones that look better. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
so we want them like moderately attractive, just not super handsome.
Right.
Like us. Okay. That's
Okay.
What all right.
Right there.
This one. Yeah.
Hey, are you a restaurateur?
I am not. I'm an attorney.
Oh, what kind of attorney?
Oh, it's Anthony Zoller. We know Zoller.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, good.
All
We
right.
do.
Wait,
Yeah, great.
come talk to us.
Yeah,
about
come
what's
on. We
the
need to talk to you.
game.
Come on, we're on our podcast.
Okay. Oh.
What do you got? What's your time
We're
limit?
talking at the
How much
in
time?
12 minutes.
We do our
Yeah,
best
we
work
do
in
5
12
minutes.
minutes.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
come over
Jump
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
This down.
Pooja. I went to high school with a girl named Pooja Patel.
Did you?
But she's a P-U-J-A.
I'm P-O-O-J-A.
Yeah. Okay. So
And
you're
funny
different people.
thing, it's actually the most common
Is it
Gujarati
really?
name, Indian girl's name. You can just guess, and probably Pooja Patel.
It's like
Really?
John Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, wait. So you're with one of our CRA law partners.
I am. Yes.
Does an awesome, great job at giving legal advice. But what's some of the trends? What should we be watching out for?
What's
right
going to
now?
cost us a lot of money right now?
Well, what I'm actually talking about today is SB 1524 and the junk fees law, the wonderful law that kind of popped up last year, caused a ton of confusion for a lot of restaurant owners.
And for our listeners, can you give us a brief synopsis of what that is?
Yeah, so it went into effect last year, and basically it was to avoid price stripping. A lot of things we saw on big consumer purchases like Ticketmaster, hotels.
Yeah.
All those drive-up fees. You went to go buy your $200 Taylor Swift ticket, and now it costs you $550
Right.
because of all those.
You got in Taylor Swift for $200, girl?
I did not, but I did go.
Secrets.
I did go see Taylor Swift though.
Not for $200.
I'm a
though.
diehard Swiftie here. But yeah, so pretty much that's where the legislation came up with. It went into effect last year. Naturally, a lot of restaurant owners, bar owners, freaked out. What's going to happen? We do surcharges. Everyone has these mandatory service fees, these surcharges, and what do we do about it? So the California Restaurant Association was one of the people that kind of pushed for it, and days before SB 478 was to go into effect, got this exemption passed.
Right.
And Governor Newsom signed it, I think it was like 3 days before, and it gave us an exemption to restaurant owners. Restaurants, bars, and grocery stores. It doesn't include DoorDash and third-party delivery services, though.
You okay? And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Wait, so when you go to a restaurant and there's a surcharge on the menu, how do you feel?
I don't mind as long as you tell me what it's about and just, tell me where my money is going. And that's what the law is. Make it clear, make it conspicuous.
Correct. Beforehand, before you order,
Before
not
order.
at the end of the meal.
Yeah. Put it on the menu. Tell me you're charging me 5% extra for
As
your
a
kitchen.
consumer, this is a personal, subjective.
Yeah.
As a consumer, it doesn't bother you.
It doesn't bother me.
Good to know.
Do you,
As long
do
as
you
I
have
know.
surcharges on your menu?
You don't, do you?
No.
I'm thinking about this credit card surcharge, though. I mean, that seems to be kind of trendy.
Okay. The one where you put 3% on if you use a credit card?
Correct.
Somebody else told me they do a 32-cent fee, a swipe fee, basically.
Oh.
Flat fee if you use a credit card.
Okay.
If you use debit or cash, nothing. I like that more than the percentage. I cannot stand any of the,
As a consumer,
the
you
healthy.
mean?
Yeah, as a
Okay.
consumer, I'll fight for your right to have it all day long. But the add-on for the healthy LA or these imaginary taxes people have made up.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, and this could be a generational thing, maybe the younger generation doesn't feel like this because they've grown up with it, but I also feel like you're putting your problems on me. That doesn't really jive with hospitality, right? Come into my house, Joseph, welcome. Just to let you know, we're having a real tough time around here. So if you avoid that section of the furniture, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah,
It doesn't jive with
Yeah.
hospitality to me. You know what I mean? But like I said, if you grew up with it, you don't know any better, and so maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to put it in my restaurants because it helps. You
Yeah,
know?
well, it's a huge amount of the percentage fee on credit cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else? What else is going on in the legal world? We know you got to go. but-
Yeah, well, wage and hour is always a big one, and that's always the hot topic, wage and hour violations, making sure your employees are getting their breaks, taking their meal breaks, rest breaks.
I want to ask you about meal periods. So I know, like, we had Brinker, what was that, 09?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Okay, so
yeah,
Brinker was 09.
long time ago.
Yeah, so that's good news that I know that, but also very bad news. Okay, so Brinker was 09. So, like, I just feel like since 09, 10, 11, 12, you've had this windfall where everybody and their freaking mother kind of knows about meal periods,
Yeah.
right? So, like, today, are you legitimately seeing restaurants with intentional meal period violations, which, by the way, I think has kind of become construed over time?
Yeah.
Your employees don't actually have to take a meal period. You just have to provide it, make sure there's ample opportunity. Is that correct? Okay, so, but most
Yes, and
Well,
technically, yes.
technically, yes. Okay,
Yes.
so that's what but now, you're thinking about what opposing counsel always does and tries to beat you into submission.
Exactly.
But the law is, I need to provide an opportunity. So if he doesn't take a break, it doesn't mean necessarily that I have a violation. It could mean that there was an opportunity. He just said, I don't want to clock out for 30 minutes because I'd rather have that money.
Yeah.
Okay, so where am I going with this? In today's environment, are you seeing legitimate meal period violations where breaks are denied by restaurant operators on a grand scale?
I'm not seeing them that people are actually saying, look, no, you can't go take your break if somebody asks for it. I do see situations where it's, well, we didn't really ask them and they didn't ask to take it, so
Okay.
they didn't get
You
it.
just don't want to be in that position to have to defend it.
And honestly, it comes down to the papers. It's
Right.
documenting. I mean, I look at a time record and they worked an 8-hour shift and they didn't clock out for a meal break. You can't waive it. It's over 6 hours. So now
Now you have to
know,
prove that
we
you
gotta-
provide an opportunity, right?
Exactly.
Which you'd rather not do. So I get it, right?
It's not a great defense. It's
Right.
doable. I mean, we're going to have those arguments, but you're always going to have the one employee who now says, no, Joe never gave me a meal break. He never let me take my
Right,
meal breaks. Or
right.
that manager who no longer works there never let me take my meal break.
Right.
And now we don't know because manager doesn't work there anymore.
How many of those cases, percentage, are settled versus going to court?
Can't think of the percentage off the top of my head, but
Rough
I would
ballpark.
say like
9 out of 10?
almost, 9 out of 10.
10.
Almost all of them are going, generally do settle. And then unfortunately for our business owners, it comes down to the
Cost benefit.
cost benefit
Yeah.
analysis. And that's, what we do. We go, that's the decision ultimately, and it's the most frustrating decision to make, I think. And I'm sure if, you guys have ever heard of anyone or been there, it's making that decision where that person is wrong.
Right.
And, you've done everything in your power to make it correct, and you're still in the wrong. It's really hard to be 100% compliant in California.
Yep.
The law makes it very
Well,
difficult.
because and I think you're
Bless
also
you.
going to do great in your speech.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah,
Have a great
you're
day.
polished. Good. All right.
Okay, so we've gotten one lawyer, we've gotten one restaurateur.
Yeah. Orange Coast College,
Yes.
man. You guys are.
Hi.
Hey,
What?
you get to
Do
hold
I
that.
get to
huh?
hold that?
Yeah.
So it's nice. Thank you for coming.
Hey,
Appreciate
yes,
it.
Steve.
Introduce
Steve,
yourself and tell us
Joseph.
about yourself.
Pleasure.
Right now?
Yeah, in like
We're
three
doing-
three sentences or less.
My name's Steve Gostin. I'm the General Manager of Instructional Food Services at Orange Coast College.
Okay.
That'd be
So
great.
that's real close.
Yeah, we're in Costa Mesa, not far off the 405.
And this is how big of a school?
So we have 17,000 students. Our culinary program's about 400. We also offer a food and beverage management program, hospitality program, airlines. We have our own travel agency. Our culinary school is phenomenal. We have about 9 kitchens.
Okay.
And we oversee food and beverage for the whole campus.
Awesome. And restaurant management too?
Restaurant management, food and beverage management,
Okay.
bar management,
Huh?
all that, yeah.
So if a student going to your school would be primarily looking for, is it primarily cooking or is it all the above?
All the above.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I mean, we might actually
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
to go
come
to
on.
your school.
Yeah. It's a
Based on the conversations we're having today.
You would not believe the facility that we work out of. I mean, it is. I used to be with the Art Institute in Orange County, and I thought I had a great facility there. Nothing compared to what we have here. It's probably the best facility on the West Coast.
Okay.
Impressive.
Is there any core to your curriculum in the restaurant management world? Is there a book that everybody reads? Is there
Is it philosophy?
The philosophy is trying to teach people how to work in this industry, manage in this industry in today's world.
Okay.
A lot of culinary, a lot of food and beverage management programs are years ago.
Yes.
We're trying to be more progressive, be innovative, not just with our classrooms, but with how we operate instructional food services on the campus.
And so what are some of those things that you are teaching now that you wouldn't have taught in 1990?
How to make really cool food, understanding costs, especially from a management standpoint. I mean, I've been teaching for a long time and seeing how many students come through programs don't understand what a food cost actually means, how to create a program that will actually make you money. And that's one thing I like teaching is
Hold on, let me write this down.
helping people learn to make money, not just put out food, just put out drinks. You got to make money. Otherwise, like a lot of restaurateurs, they close their doors early.
And so let me ask you some questions. Like, as a consumer, now that you're in the industry, in the educational part of the industry, what are you seeing nowadays as a consumer that you like about current restaurants or dislike about?
What I like is the innovative food. I like how creative a lot of these restaurants are. They're pushing the envelope and trying to do new things. What I don't like is there's a real lack of service and hospitality.
Okay. I think it's valid.
I'm not a chef per se. I'm a glorified line cook. I've been working in the industry for over 30 years as a front of house guy, front of house manager, and teaching front of house. And there's a serious lack of hospitality and service in taking care of people. And I just see so many restaurants failing because their service sucks.
And is that what you
Period.
think the number one sort of driver of failed restaurant is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't take care of people, what have you got? They're so focused on food or fancy cocktails, and it takes forever to make some of this, but it's being served by people that don't understand service. They don't understand the hospitality factor of providing a great meal, having fun with people, creating that connection so that they come back and visit again.
And how do you take that ethos and impart that on your students, right? Because your students may not be graduating and opening their own business right away. They may go to work for somebody, right? And so
Right.
how do you kind of explain to your students that, because you can hire somebody, they're both going to collect a paycheck, at least in the short term. How do you inspire and get them to understand that this is the kind of right way to go in the industry?
So we have a course that they're working in a live restaurant. It's called Captain's Table, and they'll work front of house and back of house. They'll create some amazing food, but they also learn how to serve it. But it's important to teach that you can't have a successful operation if you don't have a successful front and back of house working together. You have to be cohesive.
Yeah, okay.
Back in the old days when I started in the industry, prima donna chefs ruled, and they ruled with an iron fist, and you can't do that anymore.
So wait, you participate in the Pro Start. You guys do
We
the.
don't.
But
we
you
want to
have
get
the-
back into it.
You have the. You don't have a booth at the recruitment, and
We might have career services out there.
Yeah,
So they might be out at ProStart and working with.
it's a really great organization. You know.
ProStart?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
absolutely.
I mean,
We
I know
wanna
it's
get
not
more
your
involved.
age, but like to as a feeder for your school.
We work with high schools and we have them come in, especially over the summer. We've had, I don't know how many high schools come in and work on the campus and take classes, week-long classes on the campus, experience what goes on at Orange Coast College so that they can make a decision and hopefully join us.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, have you done anything with ProStart?
Not yet,
It's,
no, but I'm
it's
interested.
really, I mean, I get goosebumps every time I think
Really?
about it,
Wow.
because it is really,
Interesting.
see these like adolescent, they're sort of awkward high school students that just turn into like pros and just professional.
Do you still have that 20 feet restriction on
Yeah, I gotta stay, I gotta be way back, but I
Okay.
watch, put
Got
the
it,
glasses
got
on.
it,
Okay,
I love
well hey,
it.
Steve,
Okay,
again,
guys.
thanks so much,
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank
All right,
you.
take care.
Thank you. I think we have a new victim.
Okay.
Just take a while to get up to.
11:08. Yeah, let's do
Hi,
it.
we're ready. Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome. Jesse. Nice
Jesse,
to meet
nice to
you.
meet you too.
Would you step right up and we'll give you the microphone? Yes, do you want to put your bags down?
Some epic tattoos.
And-
I've never seen anything like these.
My daughter's drawings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just I gotta wait till summer's over to get the.
Yes,
going.
yes,
All right,
yes.
you're holding this.
I'm holding this.
So why don't you tell us about yourself and what you do? We're looking for like 4 sentences.
Sentences. My name is Jessie. I work with Moseri Produce as a sales rep down in San Diego. So wholesale produce is what we do. So we're partnered also with Sunrise Produce up here in LA.
Okay.
Are you familiar with those brands?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay.
We don't have too much produce. So,
So we wanted a vendor because
Yeah.
so far we've had a lawyer,
Okay.
a restaurant operator,
Okay.
a teacher,
yeah.
general manager of the food place, and we wanted to talk to a vendor. So we're glad
Perfect.
that you came here.
Thank you.
So what is it like on your side of the industry dealing with restaurateurs like us?
It's different at every restaurant. I mean, obviously chefs and restaurant owners have different things they're trying to accomplish. So trying to work with both of them and make both of them happy can be difficult sometimes, but it's also a fun challenge at other times.
Are you specialty produce or general produce?
We have general produce.
Like dragon fruit?
Yeah,
and,
of course. Is that specialty in your
I
book?
don't know. Well,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
I mean,
pretty
we have
exotic.
Yeah.
all that stuff. We also work with the farmers market program up at Sunrise.
Okay.
We do a lot of dry goods as well, so we have a lot of vendor partners that we work with, trying to make sure that we can accommodate everything that the restaurant wants in one job.
All right.
So sort of like a smaller broadliner, if you will.
So our main audience of, I think we're up to 6 or 7 people now.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
podcast has spiked to 12.
Nice. Congratulations.
But our main audience is, I would say, mostly restaurateurs or industry adjacent.
Okay.
In your opinion, is there a difference between the generation of restaurant owners or managers that you deal with? So let's say, the 50 to 60 will behave a certain way, and the new 25, 30, 35-year-old person in charge that you're dealing with, do you notice a difference, and what are those differences?
Yes, I want to say yes to that. I've been in this industry since I was 14, so very long time.
So you grew up with people being like, God damn it,
Yeah,
get to
it's
work,
like
you
I went to culinary
Okay.
school. I graduated
Pre-child
that
labor laws. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, I've been through all of the generations, and obviously the older generations are a lot harder.
Right.
And that's what I'm used to. So, not to say that the newer guys are softer.
No, I think you're saying it right now. The new
But-
generation of restaurateurs is soft, as
No.
explained by
No way.
Jesse.
I very much didn't. No, not like that. But,
No,
I
but we
mean,
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, they're. But I want to say they're a little bit more fun to work with because they're more
Okay.
fun to experiment. You can
Collaborators.
Exactly.
So,
You can-
so are they doing trends that you notice between the newer generation restaurants and operators?
Not necessarily trends, but it's more you can present them with a different product and be like, hey, what do you think you would do with this? Where like the older generation is more set in their ways and
Got
like
it.
we're sticking to the menu or we're changing the menu seasonally
Yeah.
4 times a year, and that is that. But we have our basics that we go to, so it's not necessarily going, to.
Wait, so can you explain the farmers market aspect that you were just talking about? Because like you're saying that, oh, we just got these great sunchokes in, and
Yeah.
you should try to do something with them, and then you have a higher acceptance rate from.
From the younger chefs that
Yeah.
are more willing to experiment with something like that, or put in a farmers market special on their menu, something.
And
along
what's
those
the
lines.
farmers market component of your?
So
business?
we go to Santa Monica Farmers Market every Wednesday.
Okay.
It's one of the largest markets in Southern California. So we have vendor partners that we work with there, vendor farm partner people that we work with there. So, we'll go, we'll place our orders, we'll pick them up, and then we'll deliver them out to the different restaurants that order that product. So.
Got it. So they bring them to the farmer's market, you do a bump truck, or you and then you pick them up and take them.
Yep, and then distribute them from there.
Got it. All the way down to San Diego, or
Correct.
all the way? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the highest north that you go?
Gosh, I know they go to NorCal. We also go out to Vegas with Sunrise.
Great. So one question that I would want to ask everybody, but somehow it just came to my mind right now, is the restaurant business is an extremely fascinating and dynamic business. So in the sense that there are moments of intense love with the restaurant business.
And
then
hate.
there's And hate. So what do you love about the industry, and what are some of the things about the industry that you're like, oh God, I just can't?
I guess I love how everything changes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to experiment with different things. Like I said, I went to culinary school, so being able to talk to a chef on that level as well, being, like I said, I got these amazing sunchokes, as you said, and, what can we do with these? Or, just knowing what people are looking for. Can call a chef and be like, hey, I just got these amazing tomatoes and strawberries in. This is great, send them out.
And the just more scandalous, juicy answer of the hate part.
It's nonstop, 7 days a week. You don't ever stop. You're on call all the time. So sometimes it's a bummer, sometimes it's fine. But.
Yeah. I would love to hear your answer for this.
What's the question?
The love-hate dynamic as a restaurateur.
Next question. Yeah. I mean, it is nonstop. But also, as a restaurateur and as an owner, you get the flexibility of your time and I don't know. What strikes me now is that every time I walk into one of my locations, I see somebody that I know, and that's really fun for me. It feeds my ego and makes me feel loved.
I'm the opposite. I like to avoid people that I know.
This is somebody. We worked so much in the restaurants the first 10 years. Every day, 14, 16 hours a day. It was and so I made some great relationships. And then now over the years, the frequency of these guests may be less, but at least every time I'm in there, I see somebody from way back and reminds me of something. And I think that's a really fun thing.
And that's a nice feeling.
And then, just running into people on the street and getting the feedback that, oh, I love that spot. I don't know how to say the name of the restaurant, but I love that spot. The hate, it's just, it feels like every facet of the restaurant business is sort of against you, right? You've got the government that's really pushing on you. You've got employee issues, you've got supply issues, you've got price, feeds, just all these different sides that are, you're kind of at war for better or worse, and trying to keep steady in that. There's a lot of pressure and it's unrelenting.
Good.
Thank you.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Gentlemen.
Really appreciate it. Again,
so much,
I'm in awe of these tattoos. They are epic.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's 6 now, and
How cool.
And that's brave. I won't let my kids anywhere near me with a pen. Right?
Let alone with a needle.
Hi, I'm John.
Hi, John. I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Hey, John, Joseph.
How are you?
Great.
What are we going to talk about? How bad Gavin Newsom is?
Whoa, all
John,
right. Yeah, let's jump
John,
right in there. Wait, hold on.
This is an apolitical podcast, but we want you to be you. So if that's what you want to talk about, we'll join in.
Well, hi, how's the show going?
It's going great. I think it's getting better now.
Yeah. I actually was told that by a guy who went to both Chicago and Vegas. He said this is a better attended show, more productive. So congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Is that it's pretty much
We had a lot
get the
to do
credit.
with
It's
that.
us, Joseph and Ben.
So
We're
is
pretty
Jot
much-
Condi going to watch this video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Jot,
Jot, I need you to be more forceful with the California legislature. It's terribly heartbreaking that the granddaughter of Dick Snyder is moving to Tennessee. Really, that is so sad that we have come to this state of animosity and with local governments and state governments.
we love this kind of feedback because we're restaurant operators just like you, right? And we're pissed off.
Are you're mic'd?
Yeah, we have
okay.
Mike.
Yeah, we're
All right.
mic'd up. But we're upset by these things like you are. But, we will say that Jot and the California Restaurant Association.
I love Jot. I just want him to just.
Yeah, he's there. Oh yeah, he's there.
I want him to just be
We're there.
more forceful.
We all do.
Look,
yeah, I mean,
and I get it. It's a tough putt right now.
but let's talk Turkey. Let's be real. Politics is a delicate dance.
Yeah, but it's improving, and he's got some tailwind
but
right
he's
now.
improving. I mean, I would say he's improving primarily because of some efforts of the CRA also.
Good.
Yes,
Great.
sir. So we appreciate that 100%.
My friend Kevin McCarney used to be president of the CRA.
What's
Okito Mas.
Okito Mas, yeah.
And he used to walk around with different legislators. He had a roll of brand new nickels. And he would leave a nickel at every meeting and say, that's how much money I make from every dollar. So if you think that there's a great misperception on the restaurant business, it's similar to other retail environments. We are high volume, low margin businesses, by and large.
Except for Joseph, he apparently figured it out.
Or Steel Plaid and Yard House.
Yes,
I mean, I get those guys,
Yes.
and I applaud them for it. But I mean, even the Cheesecake Factory, they're working at a 4 to 7% ROE. Like, really? Wow. Okay.
On those sales.
On those sales.
I mean, they used to be 10 or 12 million a unit. I don't know if they're still doing that.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I talked to David. He was a client of mine when I was at Alex Brown, and he's always been a great friend and mentor, and he gave me some terrific advice as we were coming out of COVID. But it's been challenging,
We'd actually love to hear a little bit about who you are in your restaurant, and you mentioned some of your career already. And
so my name's John Sangmeister. I'm the managing director of Gladstone's Long Beach and soon to be Gladstone San Diego. We've been at it for 20 years. My operating partner, Scott Hewitt, is here, and my son, Jack, who's on his way to UNLV to the School of Hospitality. Yeah.
Nice.
So
you can't go to Dad's School of Hospitality.
No, I absolutely. In fact, I push him out.
Don't do what I'm doing.
Is your plan to bring him back in after?
Let's hope. Let's hope that there's a business to do that with.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, really, that's how difficult the operating environment. We're in Long Beach right now. We're running a 40% vacancy rate on Pine Avenue, the heart of the downtown.
Yeah.
And it's growing. I had a meeting with the business owners, with our downtown business associates. These are businesses family businesses, 10, 20, 30 years. Half of them thought they wouldn't be here in 12 months.
Yeah.
We have to improve that environment. The vibrancy is so critical. The vibrancy that restaurants and retail bring to a community, improve safety, improve quality of life for everyone. And if we don't nourish that, our state will suffer terribly.
Okay, but do you think people give a shit? So my question is, honestly, when as an industry, and this may be controversial, excuse me, but and as an industry, we're always like, restaurants are closing and and this makes a difference to people. In my opinion, when your restaurant closes, they're sad for a week and they go somewhere else. So
no, I get that.
You know what I mean? So
they go to Grubhub.
Right, and so it's kind of like this is a message. This is a very old message in the restaurant industry, which is we don't make any money. We've been hammering that for how long, and where has it really gotten us? Maybe we need a different message.
I will tell you what my message is, and when I get on my soapbox, this is critical to the civility of our society. Mm-hmm. Our restaurant is one of the last our type of restaurant, full service. Grubhub can't take that away for now. Mm-hmm. Although I'm certain businesses are trying to figure out a way to do it.
They're annoying, aren't they?
But it's important that we as citizens sit down of different makes, models, and creeds, break bread in a public forum, we act politely to one another, and we learn how to behave well. I mean, it's important that we do this as a society.
You mean restaurants provide the place to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Howard Schultz talks about the third place of his coffee shops. Similarly, full service restaurants, casual dining, that's important for all of us.
Is there, we were talking about this yesterday, is there a threshold or something, an inflection point where you would say, I can't be in California anymore, I'm going to go to
God, I hope not. We moved to California when I was a kid in 1972. I've seen goods, bads, highs, lows. I've seen the SLA, I've seen the Manson murders, and I've also seen the 84 games. So let's hope that 2028 is going to be a great capital investment in Southern California It'll be a great opportunity for a renaissance in both Long Beach and other cities in Southern California. And let's hope that we can be wonderful hosts to the world then.
Yeah.
So being in the restaurant business your whole life, what would you say for maybe a struggling independent operator out there, what would you say is your top 3 keys to what has made you successful or your restaurant successful?
Well, the best part about the restaurant business is the people, and the worst part about the restaurant business is the people. And it's still a people business. I saw one of those robots, and it depressed the hell out of me. You know, it really did. We used to be franchisees to a popular QSR pizza concept, and it was a great opportunity to meet with young people that were getting their first paycheck. By first paycheck, this is not cash under the table, fried a fika fuka, taking their vig. And I said to them, making pizza will probably not be your last job. The skills that you need to learn here is that you're going to show up to work on time. You're going to come in with a good attitude. You're going to give it your all while you're here, and you're going to have a charming personality while you're here. And if you can carry those qualities with you to other jobs, your career will thrive.
And as we know, that's easier said than done, right?
It's easier said than done, but some of them got it and some of them didn't. But you hope that you can plant that little seed. And this is a great industry to develop interpersonal skills.
Yeah, I'm still working on that, so. We may be of like kind. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, good luck.
John, get to work.
Right on. Thanks.
Great. That was great. We got to have all different kinds of personalities. So,
Yeah.
You know, you can't be afraid to shake things up and say things that are unpopular.
Do you ever
right?
feel like you need a little bit more age and wisdom to say it like he does?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
And he don't give a shit.
Right.
He's been through it all, right?
Yeah.
Me and you, we're still kind of like, hey, you know, what's going on?
Yeah.
He's like, the times I've been fucked, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit anymore. You know what I mean?
You're gonna learn these skills.
Yeah.
I mean, that just sounds like you nailed that.
That's gonna be us one day. But that was great. That was great. Old school restaurateur. You know what I mean? We like that. He came with some strength and some fire. You know, and that's great. You know what I mean? That's your classic restaurateur. You know what I mean?
You get to hear a lot of interesting stories. You get to see panels that are, really diverse, from legal topics to pizza contests.
You sound excited.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool. You get to eat a lot.
But seriously, what was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
Man, I like walking through there. It's a one-stop shop for any sort of equipment. If you want to get some packaging, and there's a lot of packaging. There's some wacky things that you would never think of, but kind of solve common problems in the restaurant. Weird bug lamps that zap bugs on contact, or plasticized paper.
Free samples.
Yeah, lots of free samples, lots of pizza.
I can't tell you how many pizza rolls I had.
Yeah. Oh yeah, logs. They were pizza logs.
Pizza logs. That's right. That's probably the reason I didn't buy them, because of the name. I can tell you, I didn't know if you're planning on asking me, but I could tell you my favorite part of the experience also.
Hey, Ben, what was your favorite part of the show?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking. So I would probably say there's 2 things that I like about it. One is the fact that there are vendors there from all across the country coming to California, and also not only showing off their goods, but also connecting with the California Restaurant Association, which is very important. But within that, staying in that sphere, they're showing you the latest and greatest, right? And so, for example, like you hear about like AI, right? And my brother was telling me like, oh, we got to have AI in our restaurants. Well, there's 3 booths there or more that are going to tell you how AI can help you in your business, right? And so you stay up to date on trends. You find potential products or services that you might need. So a lot of times you say to yourself like, gosh, I need someone to print my menus, right? And you just can't really find a company, or there's some problem, or you're not happy with your current company. Well, there's 6 booths about companies that'll help you print your menus. And so that's the first part about it. I would say the second part about it is the community and the connection, which is, I think growing up in the restaurant business, I don't know if I was taught this, but there was like this stigma that your fellow restaurateur was actually your enemy, right? You're my competition. But
Yeah,
I just find, I don't know if you find this, but like the opposite is true. Like we're stronger when we're together and we can share ideas and we can figure out how to be mutually successful.
totally. I think that's a great point. I mean, to echo what you said about the sort of the where you can touch things, you can see things, you can demo it. It's not just behind a paywall or behind a a computer screen on a website.
Hmm.
Packaging is real. You can feel the quality of it, and totally getting to be there with your fellow restaurateurs, either commiserate or celebrate or share ideas. Yeah, absolutely.
And we had several interesting conversations. Do you remember any that stuck out to you?
Yeah, the totally by chance that we ran into one of the Zaylor Law partners,
Well, that's
and
right.
she was just about to go up on the stage to have a presentation, and we grabbed her off, and she gave us a like kind of a 5 minute spiel. That was kind of interesting to hear.
Mhm.
Some of the old good old law stories that are
Well, honestly,
circulating these days.
it's like free legal advice, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's really hard to make money in restaurants, and not, restaurants are so much more about profit, and of course we're here to make money, but it's so much more of a encapsulating experience than just making money. For example, like if you get a lawsuit, it's going to cost you X amount of money. But it's not just the money, it's the experience that you're going to have to go through that's really taxing. And so when you go
right.
to these types of events and you meet lawyers that you can just talk to, it's another community resource that these events help provide.
Right, or another restaurant that's gone through the same sort of experience. Fred Glick, he's always just great to talk to.
Hmm.
But a lot of great operational, expertise and advice and some good book recommendations. Ben, did you have a favorite guest that we got to talk to? Somebody that stood out to you that you
Yeah.
Googled right after?
Well, I usually check Instagram actually
Huh?
first. Yeah. But there were all great guests. I really like the restaurateur. His name is kind of escaping me now, but he was like an old school restaurateur. And I love old school restaurateurs because my dad is an old school restaurateur and I know everything in the business. I mean, it comes from him. And so they have a certain personality type that I always like to reference. And they're very typically, they speak their mind. They're not afraid of volume control. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And they're not afraid to be the bull in the china shop, where I kind of feel like, and this is personality dependent, but I feel like more our generation is a little more kind of diplomatic in how we approach things in a way. And so it's really refreshing to get somebody from that, more of that generation.
yeah, he definitely stood out to me as somebody that was old school and definitely seen a lot in his day, and kind of has weathered enough storms to take a real no nonsense approach to operating a restaurant.
He's seen a
Yeah,
lot.
a salty dog.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it.
The other thing that was cool is that you and I, who get to see each other, 3 or 4 times a year, we got an opportunity to meet and go to breakfast the day before the show, check out a local restaurant that we wanted to both see, and connect on that. And that's cool. I mean, our friendship and our
Dude,
um,
no
is a
bullshit.
testament to.
Yeah, no jokes, no bullshit. I can't tell you how valuable I think that is, being a part of the California Restaurant Association and cultivating these relationships, because, a lot of you are, I'm guessing, are independent restaurateurs, or you're the general manager or a CEO of a restaurant group. And being a leader, you're kind of alone in a lot of things. You might have a partner, but having a friendship with Joseph or having a relationship with different people in the California Restaurant Association, it just not only does it make your job so much easier because you have somebody who's probably going through the exact same thing that you are, but it's also so educational for you to. Joseph, how many freaking I too frequent, dude, you personally have given me so many ideas, but how many ideas did we just discuss at that restaurant that we went to? The breakfast place. We talked about
Yeah, I
menu,
mean,
we talked about food. I asked the guy where he gets his bacon.
a lot. And actually, yeah. One of the things was that you mentioned that you had some different ideas on staffing and your management levels and how you can empower more people to do more things. You know, coming out after the show, I've had my own management challenges, and I've been thinking about how I can apply some of that thinking if it's applicable to me. But and maybe it's not so much, but it at least gets the conversation going in my head, and I can start to
Right.
think of, you know, what may or may not work
And that's
for
the
our
thing, like
operation.
you might get an idea that represents 100% of an idea. But if you sometimes you only take 1 to 5% of that idea, but that's 1 to 5% better than you were if you didn't have this relationship or this community, or you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep, yep. And if
You
you're
know,
1% every day, that's good.
I think I saw that on TikTok. So kudos to you.
I saw it in maybe a Jim Sullivan book, or yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. We had a fantastic time. Thank you to the California Restaurant Association, Confidential Bulletin, all of you for listening. And thanks for everyone who joined us at the California Food Show. And of course, this wouldn't be a great podcast. It would be a good podcast with me, but it wouldn't be a great podcast without my co-host, the very talented Joseph Pitruzzelli.
Thanks, Ben.